in conversation with Alex Chudov. Alex is a Ukrainian-Canadian author, loving husband, father, and brother. Throughout his life, he has sought answers to humanity's most important questions, growing up spiritually and intellectually, and striving to improve the world. The foundation of his books lie the dozens of read books, his life path, unique revelation experiences. And on today's episode of Author Interview, to my utmost pleasure, joy and excitement to offer the show today, Alex Chudov. Welcome on the show, Alex.
Yeah, hi Peter.
It's so nice to meet you, really. It's quite lovely. We are here to talk about your beautiful book. Thank you so much for coming on.
Thank you for having me. It's a pleasure
Yeah,
to
it's
be here.
absolutely, absolutely. So, Alex, I need to first say that I was taken aback, and I was really taken aback when I read through the description page of your book, Wandering the Universe, Who We Are and Why We Came into this Universe, whose page read quite compellingly to me. I am more intrigued by its qualities and its questions about purpose, about why we are here, etc. But then I'd like to ask you, what inspired you to write this book? How did Wonder in the Universe came to be?
What's inspired me?
Yeah.
Generally, uh, the inspiration of this book lie in my revelation experience. It started in 2021 when I first get the COVID disease, and at that moment I spent about 20 days in the hospital, and at the one moment saw that it was the last my days. That experience showed me many things from my 40 years life.
Mm,
I remember a lot of things, what I read, what I did, and all these thoughts get me the understanding and quite unique vision of the university, who we are,
mm,
how we communicate with it, and
yeah,
all this experience lie in the book, right? And at that moment, after I get home, I decided to write this book. First of
yeah.
all, for my family, for my friends, and explain them what I feel and how everything works. So that experience quite unique, and I actually write the whole chapter in my
Mm.
book regarding this revelation experience. So people can read it in more details and understand why I decided to read this book.
Wow, I must say that I love the description of that. And it sounds to me really like you've got a lovely way to becoming an author, a very smooth ride into becoming a writer. And I must say, thank you so much for taking your time to share that with us concerning Wonder Universe. Thank you. Thank you. And for the sake of
So
readers who haven't read the book yet, and of course, without giving much information away, could we have a sneak peek of what we'd expect, say, in terms of themes and subject lines picking up the book?
generally, I would describe this book as a vision of most important things,
Wow.
not only for me, but for each person, I think. Uh, the book itself is the idea of explain people how life is important, not only my
Oh,
life or your life, but general life in the universe, like
absolutely.
uh, something unique in this universe. And I try to describe uh, in the many things why people should understand that who we are, how our souls communicate with the universe, what is
Mm,
important for us, like love, family, friends, and everything else in purpose of this. So
oh,
generally,
wow.
books describe all the things.
Oh, well, I love the theme in there, and I love the subject line, and I can see even from the cover that it's gonna be quite a lovely one. I don't know if you can bend a bit so we can see it properly. I
Yeah, sure,
love
I
the
can.
space in shape. Would you like to talk about the making of the cover? I love the something that looks like a solar system in there. Yeah, the roundness of it and the galaxy look of it, or like we are viewing something from the stratosphere. Or I think that's what it's called from the
Yeah, yeah.
planet, the solar planet.
Yeah, this picture actually describes one of idea that I put in the book, and
Oh,
this cover, this design get to me in this revelation experience. I get this idea,
wow.
but I cannot express it somehow. And my daughter helped with this
Mm,
picture. Actually, it's her hand. She drew it for me. Yeah, so it will be always with me, like just the members of good times.
Wow, that's interesting to know. Thank you for sharing. And Alex, one of the most interesting things to me as a writer is to listen to readers' feedback. You may want to agree with me that one of the things that makes literature to be complex in its entirety is the fact that it can be interpreted in different ways by different readers based on their opinions. Sometimes the readers might get a message intended by the author, and sometimes they might be close to getting the message. Sometimes they might be far from getting the message, and sometimes they might hilariously misunderstand the message and interpret the book upside down. And as interestingly fun as this sound, I would like to ask you, how do you feel when readers interpret your works differently than you intended? How does that make you feel?
Actually, quite good experience for me. It's my first book, and when I
Oh,
start to get first feedbacks from my friends and family, I understand that people always find something that too close to them. They understand the general idea, but each person finds something special for him.
yeah.
Someone related to family tree for our ancestors. Someone uh, love description of love, and each person finds something for them. I didn't get too much reviews of the readers outside yet because I
Mm.
just published the book and I get
Oh,
about 5 to 10 reviews.
ratings.
But they are quite good. I look that people understand what I tried to put and say in this book, and it's really make me happy, right? That
Yeah.
means that I did something useful for people. It's good. It's quite good. I
It's
hope that it will be much more reviews later because I make some promo action and about 1,000 free copies
oh,
was taken. So I'm waiting what people say. You'll see.
yeah. It shows that you did your assignment correctly and you got your mark.
Yeah, yeah.
And I think this is actually one of the things that make simple conversation. Say, for instance, we have a book club meeting and we have like 5 people gather together to talk about the book they've just read. Also, we have 10 people gather together to talk about the book they've just read. And you would see that if we come together in a gathering of 5, 4, 6, 8, 10 people, and for instance, I happen to be there, the same way I would interpret a book would differ slightly or even completely or even entirely from the same way another person would interpret the book, and the same way the third person would interpret the book, and the same way. So we all seem to interpret literature works based on how we can resonate with it, how we can relate to the experiences mentioned in the book, and how we can interpret the book from a place of personal experiences and collate it and bring something out of it. So yeah, I could, and I think it's a very fun question to ask authors how they feel when they get some slightly different feedbacks, different from what they're quite expecting, things like that.
It's actually all about our measures and understand how they communicate. I wrote a small chapter about this, like matter information and measure, and how we understand what we see and what we touch, and how we communicate to each other. It's quite important topic, yeah, and
Yeah,
it's
if a fun one
we all
actually.
different.
Absolutely, a fun one actually, especially knowing that you're a first-time author and this is your first book, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, yeah. And I'd like to ask you too, because I'm always surprised about our authors, especially writers like yourself, would sit down and just start crafting works, paragraph, sentences, pages, chapters, and eventually having a great book done. And this always leaves me thinking, how exactly did this book come about? What inspired the lines? What inspired the sentences in the book? What inspired this part of it in a way that everything keep transitioning beautifully and collating together to make a book, to make a great book like you have in your background in there? And as far as writing is concerned, I'd like to ask you to, how do you get the inspirations and ideas to write your book? Where exactly did they come from? I'm curious.
It's quite good question actually. Uh, I call this process like communicate with my muse.
Oh,
Uh,
wow.
I quite imaginable person. All my life, I try to write some, I don't know, poetry or
Oh,
movie screenplays on
wow.
game design and everything else. I have quite good imagination.
Mm.
And I wrote in the my book how to communicate with the muse. I jokingly call this sleep with the muse because I
Oh.
love this process when I go to the sleep, nothing bothering me, and I start to getting more and more ideas. And I love this process. I enjoy it, and I describe it in details in the book. You can find it.
Mm.
But everything else is actually like discipline.
Oh,
I
wow.
generally working as the software engineer, so I know how to write algorithms, and I love just to sitting and doing something step by step. So
Mm.
as example with these books, I just start to create the structure of it, throw some thoughts that I had in the revelation experience, and start to collect information from my memory. And after that, I
Mm.
just start working like every day, couple of lines, just working, 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 working. That's all. It's easy formula that I described to in the book, like goal with action, getting results. It's easier.
Wow.
Just going and going and going, right?
I was taking some notes while you were talking. I like the fact that you mentioned everything else is discipline. And I think this is a very crucial characteristics or trait that we as writers need to possess. It takes discipline to be able to sit down, craft a book, start it. Some
Yeah,
people will say, "Oh, I want to write a book. I want to write a book," but they don't write the book because it takes a whole lot
yeah,
of strength, discipline, and determination for you to be able to sit down, start a book, continue it, let alone finish it, and have it up, on Amazon or have it up on purchase platform for people to buy it. So it really do take a lot of discipline, a lot of dedication,
yeah.
a lot of hard
It
works
was so
involved.
interesting. Yeah, it was so interesting when I start to publish my book.
Yeah,
I heard this thought a lot of my friends that, oh, I thinking about writing a book all my life. Maybe I will write it. Maybe, and it's like huge number of people thinking about this, but no one
honestly.
just started typing. Yeah,
Honestly, yeah, it's we've got that. Even that's why sometimes you see people, even if you go on Facebook, because I'm very, very active on Facebook, and you join writers group on Facebook, you would see that even some writers group, you would find good numbers of people who are looking forward to becoming an author. They call themselves aspiring authors, aspiring writers, and they never sit down to craft a
yeah.
writing, or perhaps they did it, the past and threw it away. Um, Maybe because of one reason or the other, they felt it's not good enough or it's not strong enough. And again, one thing again, I love to say is the fact that from writing, from a small bit of writing to developing it to growing gradually, it takes time over and over and over again to become well grounded as a writer, as a literary person. Yeah, we've got so many people say they want to write a book, they never did that. It's a whole lot of discipline and hard work involved, really. Yeah, someone like me who
Yeah,
has been
because
writing, who have been writing a novel for the past 4 years. I think I need an
yeah,
high level of discipline to be able to finish it off. Thank you
yes,
for
because
sharing,
people like
Alice.
start people thinking in the measure of small time, like, okay, I will write book in a month. No, it doesn't work like this.
Yeah,
It's a lot of effort. You just need to be prepared, like spend to 6 months, year,
yeah,
2 years.
absolutely.
It's just sit and doing. That's all.
Yeah,
It's easy.
yeah. I love your take on that. Thank you for sharing. And now, apart from Wonder in the Universe, do you have any other works you've authored or say currently working on?
Oh, I have a lot of thoughts about next project. Generally, maybe it will be like child book. Maybe it will be my next book. I have like
Mm,
actually one thought about the big project that will be, but I need to do a lot of investigation, and
yeah,
it's to take time. In
yeah.
the this period, I will prepare something smaller and interesting more for different kind of readers, but I will definitely work in the one big project that I have.
Mm, yeah, I love your take on that. Very true. That's quite great. Sounds like you've got a lot on going. I hope you find some
Yeah,
times to sleep.
I never sleep.
To sleep, really. Thanks for sharing. Thank you. And now, could you tell us what publishing is like for a published author like yourself? Are there any challenges you've encountered in the process of writing your book and also ever since it got published?
Yeah, this process, I decided to make the self-publishing
Mm,
a part of the find the publisher because I I need to understand how everything works, and I try to get some this basic knowledge.
mm,
So it's quite simple and straightforward, but it's getting the same a lot of effort to
yeah,
create your cover, to make this book formatted, to
yeah,
proofread it, to publish it on Amazon, to make some advertisement. Each step
absolutely.
will take effort for sure, but it's
Mm,
interesting. And after you understand how everything works, it will be easier when you, for example, with my next book, I'm thinking to get a publisher and see how it works at that side, and I will have the all experience. It's quite good. It's all about knowledge, and I'm quite
absolutely.
curious.
Wow, that's interesting, really. I love your take on that. And I'd also like to have your advice about this because we've got some people out there who are looking forward to advice from other writers, especially those who have gone ahead of them. And as a published author, I'd like to ask you, what sort of advice do you have for other writers who are still, say, struggling with writing and publishing a book, especially in your category and genre? What would you advise people in this category?
So well, I would advise try to get the measure quite broad
Mm,
to understand more things, especially in the theme that you're working on.
yeah.
If you struggle on the writing, try to read something different. Trying to see the movie. I don't know about this, like documentary
Mm,
movie or something like that.
absolutely.
Maybe it get some inspiration to. And after that, after you get the
Yeah.
some thoughts, just going to sleep is your moose, and it will help you for sure.
Mm. Oh, that's actually very true. I'm not a huge fan of movies. I can't remember the last time I saw a movie, but then I've got that a lot that sometimes watching movies can actually help you. And it's actually very true because I'm just beginning to think about it. Those times when I do watch movies, I love to read the subtitle underneath the movie,
Mm.
like rain pattern. And I love it how the writing, all of this is actually written down before it's been acted. So movies is a product of a written works. It's a product of a book. It's a product of a literature work. So watching them would also spice you to give you more ideas, more inspiration, and even teach you how to write. Absolutely. The description, the amazing
Mhm.
conversation, and the description of the scene, it's always amazing, really. And I'm like, oh, I love that word. I love that word. It's very beautiful. So I can relate with you mentioning that. Thank you for sharing.
Yeah, you're welcome.
Yeah, thank you for sharing. And before we wrap up for today, I'd like to ask you, is there anything else that you would love to share with the viewers about your book that we did not mention in this interview and I'd love the viewers to know? Is there anything?
First of all, I would like to mention thoughts that I have like a conclusion of this book
Yeah.
that each life uh, in this universe is really important. And these days, like war in Ukraine took a lot of lives, and people do not think about this. They think about the uh, things that uh, important for them, like I don't know. Territory is powerful
Mm,
and everything else, but a lot of people do not think about the life itself. And if we think huge in the size of universe,
yeah.
if we only one life in this universe on this small planet, we think we need to think how to protect this life in
Yeah.
each period, because if you die, maybe universe will need tons of time, like millions of years again, to
Mm,
bring the life to this universe. It's
mm,
quite important to think about this.
absolutely.
We have this like unique and important things like our lives. So we need
Mm.
to protect them.
Yeah, oh wow. I love your take on that. And I love the fact that you had to mention this. Got me thinking actually that it's really the truth. So many lives have gone over the war in Ukraine, in Russia, and other places. Thank you so much for mentioning. I love your take on that. And just before we wrap up, I'd like to ask you, where can interested readers get a copy of your book? On what platform are they available on?
I these days I my book available only on Amazon. But maybe in the future I will put it to we will see what will work. But for now, it's available on Amazon, but like in different continents and countries.
Yeah.
So everybody have the options to find them, and it's like all versions except the audiobook. So you can find the Kindle version, like paper
Mm.
book, hardcover. It looks like this.
Yeah. Yeah, thank you so much, Alex. And I left a link in the description part of this interview where interested viewers can get a copy of Alex Chudov, Wander in the Universe on Amazon, on his website, and also on other platform. I also left a link to social media pages for possible followings. So thank you so much, Alex, for accepting the invitation to be featured on P English Literature. I must say this is more than awesome, quite great, quite exciting, very fun having this conversation with you around your title, around your book. Thank you so much for coming on.
And thank you, Peter, for this interview. It was quite a good experience.
Yeah,
Something new
it's my
for me.
pleasure as well.